Welcome back. Thank you for being with us. This is Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. I am Sage Babalola. It's Mainland Focus. It's that time of the morning where we take your feedback on matters that have been discussed. And for this morning, we have selected two stories taken from the Punch and the Guardian newspaper so that we can hear what you think, what your thoughts are regarding the developments on these stories. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you would like to contribute to the matters tabled today, we would like that you use the live chat option of our streaming platform to send your contributions as well as for WhatsApp. And seeing as today is Wednesday, we only accommodate new callers. For the recent callers, or well, should I say the ardent callers, yes, you can take advantage of Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, because we cannot take your phone calls. So if you are a regular caller and you would like to contribute, we ask that you use our Facebook platform. You can send a message via YouTube, you can send a WhatsApp message, and you can send a text message. But for calls, we would ask that new callers take advantage of this day that has been set aside just for them. So if you're not somebody that is a frequent caller, you've been trying for months to reach us and you've not been able to do so, yes, because the phone lines have been jammed, by all means call. And when I say new callers, it doesn't mean that you've called only once before. For those who were not very familiar with your name, yes, maybe you've called 4 times, 5 times, and that's about it, or you just really started calling, today is for you. But if you are a regular caller to the point where from your voice we already know your name, I think that you should please kindly refrain from dialing today. Allow the new people also say something on air. But so straight to the conversation this morning. Yes, we're talking 2 issues. First of all, our rising debt profile, which seems to be a major concern for the Debt Management Office. They are concerned at the 149.39 trillion naira debt that currently hangs on our shoulders. We still have state debt that is some 2.57 trillion naira. At least 31 states are going through a difficulty. Yes, some have been able to make progress in minimizing their debt profile, but we still cannot take away from the fact that we are neck deep in debt. Now, the president says there's no domestic borrowing anymore, obviously, which it will mean that most of our borrowing would be foreign borrowing. There are a lot of experts who seem to think that, if anything, domestic borrowing is actually better for you. That's if you cannot avoid borrowing at all. It will be best to actually borrow domestically, because it will mean that your repayment is your repayment. There are no chances of an increment of your payment. But for foreign loans, with the fluctuations that happen within the forex market, yes, you can see a situation where you don't borrow more money, but your debt increases. The very unhealthy relationship that exists between the naira and the dollars can increase your debt without you even having to borrow more. And since we're still grappling with that instability, domestic borrowing might have been best. But since the president says no domestic borrowing, there's an advantage to that. It eases the domestic market and allow for small businesses to take advantage of the resources available. So I guess it's one bad, one good. But there is a problem with our rising debt profile. Borrowing has never been an issue. The countries with the best economies in the world also have debts. Yes, but they borrow for capital projects. Nobody would advise a country to borrow for recurrent spendings. When you start to borrow money to pay salaries, or you start to borrow money for renovations of government agencies or the National Assembly or the house of the vice president, or to buy cars or to pay allowances, that is when it becomes a problem. Borrowing for capital projects simply means that you will make profit on that capital project. It would impact your economy in such a way that you're able to repay these loans. So we're asking the simple questions: in what way can we start to offset these loans? What steps do we need to take to minimize our rising debt profile? Many will argue that our debt to GDP ratio is still something that is decent. We still have an opportunity to borrow more money. But just because the opportunity presents itself, should we continue to take advantage of it? It's a question. It's not rhetorical, because we want to get your answer. Should the government continue to borrow, seeing as they still have the opportunity to borrow? Or we should focus more on generating capital, using the monies that we've borrowed so far to focus on our capital project. If we were to start settling our debt, how do we go about it? What are the first steps? What are the things that we should prioritize? How can we ensure accountability and transparency for the monies that have been borrowed? How can we start to ask that security agencies probe funds that have been borrowed, funds that have been collected for specific purposes? Because if you're borrowing from international financial institutions, there are always conditions and clauses. They will tell you this money that we're borrowing you is for this. This money we're borrowing you is for your train track or your train system or your transportation system. When we see individuals that take these loans and don't use it for that specific reason, what should be the position of the law in terms of punitive measures for such individuals? How can we ensure transparency, accountability? What steps do we need to start taking to minimize our rising debt profile? And how can we ensure that borrowing is strictly for capital projects? That's one story. The second one is regarding Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, whose 6-month suspension is supposed to elapse September 23, or at least that's when the House will convene again, and she's supposed to be in the House. Now, unfortunately for her, the acting clerk of the National Assembly, Yahaya Danzaria, had issued a communique that, well, this matter is still a matter in court. It's being appealed. If you resume, then it will be sub judice. You have to wait for the decision of the court on your resumption. Resume her normal duties whilst the matter continue in court. For example, I'm just using this as an illustration, yes. We have situations where after an election, for example, right, the loser approaches the court. But we still swear the candidate in, the one that has won. We swear them in, right? They start with their leadership applied to this situation in the Senate. Then maybe we should not swear these people in until the decision of the court. Do you understand? I just said as elapsed. Ideally, you should be resuming, but this matter is in court. You're appealing the issue. There's also a counter appeal as well by Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. You have to wait for the court to resume, and the PDP is very displeased. In fact, there are a lot of lawyers who are now we would have to their statement. I'm trying to look for that, but the website is at comment of the PDP on this matter. But summarily, the PDP is displeased. Some lawyers have resumed whilst the matter continues in court. Okay, so we have a statement by the National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba. The PDP, the party described the action as a calculated attempt by the APC-led Senate to stifle opposition voices and deprive the people of Kogi Central representation. I'm reading now. The Constitution and the standing rules of the Senate is highly provocative and constitutes a clear and present danger to democracy. The party alleges that the renewed throughout the letter immediately. They have also said they linked the development to what it described as Akpabio's history of harassing women, urging the Senate president to clear himself of the allegations rather than continue off the Senate as a result of the communique that was put out there that they need to wait for the court. Or do you a female colleague referencing other instances of harassment that has been leveled against the Senate president, and the fact that the matter is now being treated as a Senate? Do you believe that they are now making this a problem of the entire National Assembly instead of treating it like a squabble between two individuals within the Senate? Those are the angles I would like for you to explore. 6000410, that is the phone line. You can send a text message 0913600. Morning, welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you.
Yeah, yes, I'm calling from ᴜᴜᴜ.
Welcome.
To concern National Assembly. Was National Assembly now taking this case as a government issue? They suspended Natasha. Why they did not suspend Akpabio? That is number one. And now, this woman is supposed to resume, according to the National Assembly, suspended her for 6 months. Do not dictate what they should do. Now, the woman is supposed to resume, and they are now that they are telling the world now that the case is in the court. Which one do we take? Personally, or is it National Assembly case? That's what I want to know. Akpabio is supposed to go suspension with Natasha if they want to take this case up and make sure that they settle it. Why should they suspend only Natasha alone? What do you want him to do? Now, President is keeping quiet. Is he not crisis? The state of emergency in National Assembly. Thank you very much.
You have a great morning. Thank you for calling. Hello.
Hello. What you're doing?
Thank
My
you.
name is Waraola. I just wanted to weigh in on the topic of getting people to support when they talk about the loan is supposed to be used for the purpose that it's set out for. And these agreements really have strict clauses like events of default that say, oh, if you don't follow the terms of this agreement, then there will be conditions that will go against the borrower. So I think we just need to enforce those TASA. I think that, yes, lawyers that believe that she has a right to resume, I support their argument.
That's it. That's Inaji. Look at this one. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Yes, to revenue ratio, whatever they are calling it, is the profile of the government. It is not going to solve this point. And for Natasha, I think that from the way they are calculating, the team they are working on, whether the suspension was, whether she should be raised, to be very clear that let her resume her duty. That they didn't say. So I will bet you know that they will not hear it until 4 years elapsed. So Natasha, you don't forget about the Senate.
00410. Kangwilina, if you'd like to send a message or you'd like to comment, send a message so I can read your message on the matters at hand. Let's leave the issue alone. Thank you very much. We're taking your feedback. We're talking to issues now of the average Nigerian. Although they're saying they're playing the long game, if only we are patient, we would ultimately see the benefit of this heavy borrowings, especially now that most of our borrowings will be coming from foreign financial supposed to be used for, and we should not be borrowing money for recurrent indebtedness. Hello. Well,
yes. On the issue of the borrowing, I started borrowing today. You can hardly see one or two or three at the next railway, and then the second Niger bridge at the place. You can hardly see, apart from the 30 kilometers that have been achieved so far with all the borrowing. So I think resources in this country to take care of our needs. I wonder why we are still borrowing. Are they using those mineral resources? The revenue that are being generated from those places, what are they using it for? Well, on the issue of Natasha, I think the case is between Akpabio and Natasha. And in naming the Prime Minister of UK, what happened that made her to resign? So, issues like this. So I wonder why our own politics is so dirty. So
great day. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Singh.
Morning to you.
Did I employ, as I not employee, can I make a no work for that? I probably didn't employ COVID, they will not have representatives. And everybody is looking at them. What is just doing it for his own self, and it's not.
Which apparently, not so. That some of you are using different names to just really start it calling. Let's allow for them to call. Okay, just send a message. And tomorrow is Open Mic Thursday, which means that anything you could do.
All
right, welcome.
You see about Natasha, and for now, there are two persons that anything they do in Nigeria, capital territory, is a wiki. Akpabio. President will never, no matter what they did, the president will never talk about it. Either they do it right, either they do it wrong. I'm looking at this thing and keep quiet. It's war against women. Justice itself is a woman and cannot defend this woman. Right. Other view that people that the leader that are using against our daughters, and now it's happening.
Have a blessed day. Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, I'm ᴘᴏʟɪᴛɪᴄs calling from Masafejo.
All right, welcome.
Yeah, you see what is happening in Nigeria now. They will do whatever they like. They interpret the law as it suits them. The law is now meant for some people and not for some people. So they interpret it the way it suits them. So most of the laws they are shameless. I'm 60-something years old. In the presence of my children, I don't tell certain lies. I don't lie in the presence of my children. But these leaders, they lie in our presence shamelessly. They don't care where the country is going. Their concern is to remain in power and do whatever they like. It's their turn to destroy Nigeria. And that is
specific analysis on the
No, I'm not. I'm not debating. I'm trying to make a point. You see why they are behaving, why they are treating Natasha like this is because they know we can't do anything. We can't do anything. The law is there. They quoted the law, but when it comes to implementation, they implement what suits them. They are not doing what the law says, but what suits them. So thank you very much.
All right then. Hello. Hello. Yes, your connection is a little bit bad, but I don't know.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Morning.
Yeah, this is me. So, so far, 2 months I've
Yes.
not called. Yes, I'm a regular caller.
Okay, we're not taking regular calls today. Please just send a message. All right, we'd love to hear from you tomorrow. But let's leave.
I'm calling for the first time.
Nice to have you.
First, let me thank your station for all you have been, the way you are helping the masses. You know, with what is happening now in Nigeria, the younger the youth are watching, especially the female gender. Now, why is Nigeria behaving? Fabio and Natasha had problems. Is it not something they should, even as a father, I mean, the whole world is listening, and I want the president to intervene. It's not good.
Morning, Sage Babalola. It's quite unfortunate that public and she has also appealed the ruling on the same suspension. Similarly, there are 8 appealments she has not obeyed. But okay, we have here. Good morning. Has the right to withdraw the case. He has failed. Area of the party is making unnecessary noise now that Natasha and the section have been condemned before. And the Senate continues to operate in November. Good morning, Sage. We have a situation where strong individuals have suppressed our institutions. Most of the politicians were busy defecting to APC, a norm with those at the helm of affairs. They are there to enjoy the national zero. Hello.
And forget about the future of Nigeria. When they were beating a minister's naked, option may rise up. If Akpabio truly believes that Natasha coming back, not to be dragging a kind of case. It's a personal case. It's a personal. Akpabio should end up the problem that we are facing now.
Thank you very much for your insight. 091360 interact via WhatsApp. It's 0913600430. Hello. Good morning.
My name is Ola. I'm calling from ᴜᴇᴇᴜ.
All right. Please go ahead.
Okay. My own take is like, when they say they cannot go to custom, we have separation of power. And the court give order that you should apologize to the court order. Now the court is, and you should believe that the court can decide of a debt. See all these debts we are talking about. It's not about federal government being the guarantor. And in the process, everything will be loved together that Nigeria is only so amount. So it's not about federal government is borrowing somebody. Even after you tie your road with gold, you see anything. That's what you always condemn. That's wrong. You're all human beings. There's room for error.
Thank you. Hello. We're talking about 2 issues supposed to resume the clerk of the Court of Appeal, and so there's been participate in Senate activities and represent holding her off from resuming because the case is in court. It's just political subject matter. Yes, the position about our rising debt profile, 100 things for our rising debt profile, and how can we ensure budget. Hello, as frequently as possibly. I would love if you can send a message or call tomorrow. Thank you. Please call tomorrow because once we open that, thank you.
From Ojo.
Timothy, you're right. You're trying to. We need new voices, people who just really.
Hello, good morning, Sage.
Good morning.
Okay, my name is Joshua. I'm calling from Ikoyi.
Welcome.
All right, thanks. Okay, so the debt profile will continue to rise. You know why? Because the governors are not thinking get money. So they don't want to, look inward and look at the resources that are available to them within their state. And so they don't want to do the hard work, into money to be able to do development. So the easiest way to get money is to borrow. And that's why debt profile will continue to rise. If you just watch, you see that they continue to borrow. And then for Natasha and Fabio, and then resume work to represent our people who elected at you. That alone for me is having representative in the Senate. That is unconstitutional as far as I'm concerned. There's nothing should.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. My name is
Pauline.
What I'm saying is that this Natasha case with Fabio
is senators in National Assembly who supposed to fight for Natasha. The court is not working because even the judgment that they passed, it was not clear. If the judge have clearly said that woman should, a woman that has been there for 6 months, did not represent the constituency. Now involving the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is National Assembly. It was surprising.
Let's keep the messages coming in. There's a lot of messages. We have a situation where that is used again. No, I have read this message. Thank you very much. Good evening. Good morning. I have that message. Thank you. Our Christopher from Shogunle says, for Senator Natasha, it is a case of certain characters in this government determined its management should continue. Only God can deliver us. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, ma. Good morning, ma.
Good morning to you. I'm so excited.
Okay. I'm so angry this morning because I feel this is the whole National Assembly trying to suppress a woman. Like, this should be a case of to serve this 6 months. What is stopping them from allowing her to resume her duty? What is something more to this case? National Assembly, they have something to and represent our people up there that should press to do. And this is not a good example they are laying for the next generation. I mean, what are we next gen going to rule? I mean, how are we going to perform later in the future? If they are laying down this kind of examples for us, even look up to in the future. National Assembly, please be careful. I don't like what is happening. Thank you.
All right, let's take messages. Good morning, Sage, into her duty post. The Senate should not be allowed to linger. Noah from Igondo. That's the sued her for defamation. So even the case of the wife of the Senate president had sued for defamation. The case of sexual harassment is not even in court at the moment. In Nigeria is getting out of hand. Why on earth will the Senate wait for the court at the federal or state government? The necessary drive for revenue generation that brought about the burden on citizens.
Hello, Sid. Hello, Sid.
You are a regular caller.
Okay, today is Wednesday. I'm sorry, please.
Today's Wednesday. We'll get used to it. Okay, we'll get used to it. Tomorrow you can call me, tell me everything you want to tell me. Okay. Let's see here. Good morning, Sage. It's quite advised Natasha to bow out and let another person from her constituency take the position. It will be on record that some particular people are. Good morning, Sage and Fuad. Natasha's case is a clear case of political rascality and lawlessness, has assumed a dangerous dimension. This present and the World Bank. They will continue to borrow and multidimensional poverty and Ikeja. We have Hello Mainland FM. Let's call a spade. It is either diverted for irrelevant things regarded as vulnerable without any data to show for two if the old ones are no longer functional. I would continue to say that the way out before the expiration of their tenure, and if they don't pay back, the president under such administration should face Natasha. It's unfortunate that the judiciary has now become what politicians can toss around. It's a pity that this administration is building strong individuals rather than strong.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Godwin.
Godwin,
yeah, I think I've called you last about 3-4 months ago.
Yes,
True. But I'm a regular listener. I'm a regular listener of the program, but I'm not a regular caller. Frankly speaking, that's the truth. In respect of the borrowing from this state governor all over, who just go there and collect easy money, and the federal government will not be their guarantor, and the problem will be. So that's what I'm not talking about. It's just a democracy in this country. But they see what they're going on their own. That's my contribution. Thank you very much.
All right. Hello. Okay.
In the case of Natasha, they suppose not to contest for the election, according to doing for them, to have allowed them to. This is the problem of Nigerian leaders are that they are not interested in Nigeria. They are only interested in the what they call it, that Brahma. Why they are doing this rubbish with the backing of the executive.
Show of power and behavior of the Senate leadership on the suspension of Natasha, because it is right in the country as long as we continue to abuse power to undue advantage. Senator Natasha will continue to become slaves to their lenders. It is a shame that we cannot harness our national resources and we all have a duty to double check the character of people that will come into power in 2020. The issue is in the hand of the Senate. They are the arm of government that can check the executive, thereby they fail in their responsibility to attend to. The doctors have issues of warning, strike, and security. Is it the Senate president that says Natasha should not present evidence to the court? Emotional blackmail. The case is not in court. ignorant comments, not take the issue to court. The issue of a suspension is what is in court for the issue, except the court of public opinion. That's internationally. Borrowing is borrowing, and borrowers are slaves to their lenders. They are looking for money to use during campaign. Let me say this to Nigerians: if you continue to pay, for Natasha, let the Senate and that she is not ordinary. Akpabio should let that woman be in the Senate. Nigeria and herself, I believe she lied well. How do you expect females to participate? We have on what? Hello.
I'm calling from Ojojuwe. I want to, very sad indeed. Nigeria as a country is not right. Nigeria, a case in court about you were trying to correct that person, that case of individual are thinking. You understand? What I see here is that they just want to suppress that in this country. They are there. What have they done? It is crystal clear. It's not representing ourselves in that Senate. It's everybody just get quiet.
It's Michael Ayo on Facebook says, Ayo, for your comments. Another docility on the part of not what you intended to write will stop. All right, Iberichuku, thank you. A government that is importation by denying Natasha from resuming her legal is in the court. She should have been restressed of us. God healer, lack powered. They are borrowing for it. The way the government will use internal revenue generation be done by the National Assembly. Where was he here? Good morning, Sage. This is a total gang up against Natasha for challenging the ugly status quo. Akpabio and his boss are pains that they lost that seat to the opposition and are using a compromise may be kept outside the Senate till 2027 with the full support of their Baba. It should not be suspended. They say the court cannot indefinitely. China and our creditors will come and government should give the governor stringent measures before assumption. We have good morning, Sage. Thank you for the good job. Azukala, sorry I could not read the other half of your thing. Trying to help a sick and to make matters worse, whilst 2.5 million naira to fix his broken hips, they are in a very difficult situation. The family has respiratory issue whilst they are raising money for donate to this cause, and we ask that you 526 3018, the account 8, finally 56 CMB, and the account number this family from the very little wonderful morning.